The crystal cities of Araxia shone like jewels under their twin suns. For thousands of years, the Araxians lived in peace. Their tall, clear bodies reflected light in beautiful patterns as they moved through their gleaming homes. But today, darkness fell on their world. The Void Collective ships appeared without warning, black massive vessels that blocked out the suns. They came not to talk, but to take. The Araxians had no weapons, no defenses. They believed all life was good. They were wrong. In the tallest crystal tower, the Araxian High Council gathered. Their normally bright bodies had dulled with fear. "We must send a call for help," said Elder Tix, her voice trembling. "Someone in the great darkness between stars must hear us." "Who would come?" asked another. "The Void Collective destroys everything it touches." Outside, the screams grew louder. The Void soldiers, black, many-legged creatures with glowing eyes, were taking Araxians. Not killing them, but something worse. They were changing them, making them part of the collective. "Send the call," ordered Elder Tix. "Send it to every corner of the galaxy." Their best engineers worked quickly. They built a signal stronger than any they had made before. It carried not just words, but feelings. Their fear, their hope, their cry for help. It shot out from Araxia, racing through space at impossible speeds. The signal reached the worlds of the galactic Conquered first. The Conquered was old and powerful, with ships that could destroy stars and beings who lived for thousands of years. They heard the Araxian plea and called a meeting. "The Void Collective is too dangerous," said the Conquered leader, a tall being, made of pure energy. "If we fight it, we might lose. Better to let one world fall than risk our own." The vote was quick. No one would help Araxia. No one would risk their perfect society for crystal beings they did not know. But the signal traveled on. Near the edge of known space, it reached a small human ship called Odyssey. Captain Maya Chen was drinking coffee when the message came through. "Sir," said her officer, "we're getting a distress call. It's like nothing I've ever heard before." Chen put down her cup. She was short for a human, with dark hair cut close to her head. Her eyes narrowed as she listened to the message. "How far?" she asked. 3 days at full speed, but Captain, our scans show Void Collective ships there. It would be suicide." Chen stood up. "Plot the course. We're going." At the same time, far away, a strange fleet received the signal too. Ships of different sizes and shapes, crewed by beings who didn't belong anywhere else. Outcasts, broken ones, beings rejected by their own kind for being different. Their leader was Kirxa, a silicon creature with cracks running through its body. Where others of its kind were perfect and logical, Kirxa felt emotions. A flaw, they called it. "We know what it means to cry for help and hear no answer," Kirxa told their crew. "We will answer this call." Two forces, human and outcast, set course for a dying crystal world. They were too small, too weak, too few. But they came anyway. Sometimes, that's enough to change everything. When we cried for help, only humans and the broken ones answered, the human ship. Odyssey was small, but strong. Captain Chen stood on the bridge, looking at the stars rushing past. Only 87 humans served on her ship. 87 against an army. It seemed crazy even to her. "Captain, we're picking up another fleet heading to Araxia," said Officer Patel. "Not Void Collective. Something else." Chen frowned. "Show me." The screen lit up with strange ships of all shapes and sizes. Some looked like they were built from scraps. Others were beautiful but damaged. 32 ships in total. "Open a channel," Chen ordered. The screen flickered and a strange face appeared. It looked like a rock with cracks running through it. 2 glowing spots served as eyes. "I am Kirxa, commander of the Outcast Fleet," the being said. "You are heading to Araxia?" "Yes," Chen replied. "I'm Captain Maya Chen of Earth ship Odyssey. We picked up their distress call." Kirxa's rocky face showed no expression, but their voice changed. "Humans, we know of your kind. Not always kind to those who are different. Chen nodded slowly. We've made mistakes, many mistakes. But we learn. That's what humans do best. We learn and we change. And why do you go to Araxia? You are few. The Void Collective is many. Chen smiled slightly. Because they asked for help. That's enough for us. Kirxa was silent for a moment. My fleet is made of outcasts, the broken ones, those rejected by their own people for being different. I was cast out for feeling emotions when my kind values only logic. Then we have something in common, Chen said. We're both doing something that doesn't make sense to others. As they spoke, Officer Patel interrupted. Captain, we've intercepted a transmission from the Galactic Concord. Chen and Kirxa watched the message together. It showed the Concord leaders talking about the Void Collective. We created them, a glowing Concord leader admitted, long ago as a weapon against our enemies. We lost control. If anyone learns this truth, our perfect reputation will be destroyed. Chen looked at Kirxa. Seems we have two enemies now. The Concord abandoned my people too, Kirxa said. They believe only in perfect beings. No flaws allowed. Their ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Araxia. The beautiful crystal world was now half covered in black, ugly structures. Void ships swarmed around it like insects. The human and outcast ships moved closer together, forming a protective line. Your ship has weapons? Kirxa asked. Best Earth. Could build, Chen replied. Not much by Concord standards, but we know how to use them. My ships are old and broken, but they are fast, Kirxa said. And my people know what it means to fight when no one believes you can win. Chen looked at the dying crystal world ahead. She thought of Earth's history, of small forces standing against powerful enemies. Sometimes the small won. Not often, but sometimes. My ancestors learned something important, Chen told Kirxa. The greatest victories often come from the most desperate fights. Kirxa's rocky face cracked in what might have been a smile. Then, let us write a new history together, Captain Chen. The small fleet of humans and outcasts moved toward the massive void forces. They were too few, their ships too small, their weapons too weak. By all logic, they should run away. Instead, they attacked. The small fleet hit the Void Collective ships hard and fast. The human vessel Odyssey fired weapons that lit up space with blue light. The outcast ships darted between the larger Void vessels, quick as lightning. We've made a hole in their defenses, Officer Patel reported. It won't last long, Captain Chen nodded. That's our chance, prepare a landing team. On the surface of Araxia, Chen and Kirxa led a small group toward the last standing crystal city. It glowed with fading light, cracked but still beautiful. Inside, they found the remaining Araxian leaders huddled in a grand hall. The Araxian matriarch stood taller than the others. Her crystal body was dulled and cracked from the attacks. She looked at the visitors with eyes like deep pools. You came, she said simply. When the great powers turned away, you came. Chen stepped forward. We're not many, and we're not strong enough to defeat the Void Collective alone. But we can help you fight. The matriarch's light dimmed. Fight? We do not fight. We have never fought. It is not our way. Kirxa moved closer, the cracks in their silicon body catching the light. You must fight or you will die. All of you. We believed all life respects other life, the matriarch explained. We built no weapons. We trained no soldiers. Even now, most of my people cannot bring themselves to harm others. Chen looked around, the beautiful crystal city, understanding now why it was falling so easily. The Araxians were completely peaceful. They had never known war. We can teach you, Chen offered. We can share our weapons. The outcasts can help upgrade your technology. For defense, the matriarch began to refuse when a younger Araxian pushed forward. She was smaller with unusual dark patterns in her crystal form. I will learn, she said firmly. I am Vixelara. My people call me broken because I believe sometimes we must fight to survive. Before anyone could respond, the ship's AI voice came through Chen's communicator. Captain, we have a problem. The Void Collective is trying to contact us. A dark, cold voice filled the hall. Humans, your biological and technological distinctiveness will be added to our own. Resistance is inefficient. With the message came a digital attack that hit the Odyssey's systems. Screens flickered and alarms blared. Athena, what's happening? Chen called to the ship's AI. I have contained the attack, Captain, Athena replied. But I discovered something. The Void Collective has a weakness. Forces were regrouping, launching a massive counterattack. On the ground, the outcasts and the few willing Araxians prepared for battle, using whatever weapons they had. Chen looked at the crystal structures all around them, an idea forming. Athena, what if we use the crystalline properties of this planet to boost your computational power? That could work, Athena confirmed. But it would require a dangerous atmospheric dive with the ship and might damage the planet's crystal structures. The matriarch looked alarmed. The crystals are sacred to us. They are our connection to our world. Vixalara stepped forward again. If we don't try, there will be no world left to connect with. Chen knew they were running out of time. The Odyssey would need to dive into the planet's atmosphere while the ground forces held off the Void Collective. It was a desperate plan. We need to decide now, she told the Araxians. Will you fight for your world or watch it fall? Vixalara looked at her matriarch. They answered our cry. Now we must answer theirs. The Odyssey dove through Araxia's atmosphere, the ship shaking. Hard, Captain Chen held tight to her chair as the crystal formations of the planet came closer through the view screen. Athena, begin the scan for the Void Collective's harmonic weakness, she ordered. Scanning, the AI replied. To find the correct frequency, I must send energy pulses through the planet's crystal veins. Below, in the last crystal city, Vixalara felt the first pulse run through the ground. The crystals around her glowed brighter for a moment, then dimmed. What are they doing? The matriarch asked, her voice filled with worry. Saving us, Vixalara answered. But she knew the truth was more complicated. The human ship was using their sacred crystals, perhaps damaging them forever. Outside the city, Commander Kiriksa led the outcasts in battle against the Void forces. Each outcast fought in their own way. A blind pilot saw, using sound better than others saw with eyes. A being with 4 arms operated 2 weapons at once. Each one used what others called flaws as strengths. Human soldiers fought alongside them, showing the Araxians how to use simple weapons. The humans didn't have the strongest technology, but they adapted quickly, finding new ways to fight when old ones failed. The crystal pulses are getting stronger, Kiriksa reported to Chen. The Araxians are growing concerned. Before Chen could answer, a new ship appeared in the sky. It was sleek and nearly invisible, a Concorde stealth vessel. It landed near the city, and a being made of pure energy stepped out. I am Telsin of the Galactic Concord, it announced, floating toward Kiriksa. We have been watching. Kiriksa stiffened. Telsin, you voted for my exile. Because you chose emotion over logic, Telsin replied coldly. Now I see you've found others like yourself. The energy being looked around with distaste. Telsin turned to the matriarch. We offer your people sanctuary. The Concord will rescue all surviving Araxians. But you must leave your planet to the Void Collective and never speak of what happened here. And what of the humans and outcasts who came to our aid? The matriarch asked. That is not our concern, Telsin said. The Concord seeks perfect order. These imperfect beings disrupt that order. On the battlefield, a young Araxian watched in wonder as a human soldier threw herself in front of a void drone, taking a hit meant for an Araxian child. The human fell, wounded, but alive. She looked up at the shocked Araxian. This is what fighting means, the soldier said through pain. Sometimes you get hurt to protect others. In the crystal hall, Vixalara stepped forward to face Telson. What the Conquered offers is not sanctuary. It's another prison, one where we must be silent about your crimes. Telson's energy form flickered with anger. You know nothing of... We know the Conquered created the Void Collective, Vixalara interrupted. And now you fear the truth being known. On the Odyssey, Athena reported to Chen. I'm close to finding the harmonic frequency, but the crystal network is straining. Using it this way could permanently alter the planet. Chen faced a terrible choice. They needed the frequency to defeat the Void Collective, but using it might destroy what the Araxians held most sacred. It's not my decision to make, Chen said, opening a channel to Vixalara. This is your world. What do you choose? Vixalara looked at her matriarch, then at Telson, then out to where outcasts and humans fought for people they had never met before today. We will use the crystals, she said firmly. A home without freedom isn't worth having. It's just another form of prison. Telson's form grew brighter with rage. The Conquered will consider this decision an act of hostility. As the Conquered ship departed, Chen realized the truth of their situation. They weren't just fighting the Void Collective anymore. They had just made an enemy of the most powerful force in the galaxy. The Odyssey shuddered as it pushed deeper into Araxia's dense crystal atmosphere. Metal groaned against the pressure. Inside the ship, Captain Chen watched as screens filled with data from the planet's natural crystal network. Athena, how close are we? She asked the ship's AI. Connecting to the planet's resonance network now, Athena replied. The entire world is becoming our computer. While calculations ran, Chen used remote screens to watch the battle. The humans had taught the willing Araxians how to hide, how to strike fast and disappear. The outcasts fought in strange, unexpected ways that confused the Void forces. A blind outcast pilot flew between crystal towers, using sound waves to navigate better than any eyes could. A human engineer with metal arms built weapons that connected to Araxian crystal technology, creating shields of light. But the Void Collective was learning. Each time they captured someone, they took their knowledge. Each loss made the enemy stronger. Commander Kirsa led a group of outcasts to protect a building full of Araxian children. Void soldiers swarmed toward them. Kirksa's rock-like body moved between the children in danger. Stay behind me, Kirksa shouted, using their body as a shield. The attack hit hard. Half of Kirksa's silicon form shattered, revealing something unexpected underneath. Crystal structures similar to the Araxians. As the silicon broke away, these inner crystals glowed with light. On the Odyssey, Athena finally spoke. Captain, I've found it. The harmonic weakness in the Collective's network. How do we use it? Chen asked. Someone must carry a frequency generator directly to the main Void vessel, Athena explained. The signal must be planted inside their foe central hub. Chen understood immediately. That's a one-way trip. Many volunteers stepped forward, but Vixalara pushed through them. It must be me, she said. As an Araxian, my crystal body can make the signal stronger. It's too dangerous, Chen argued. Vixalara stood firm. You answered our cry when no one else would, now I answer yours. They made a plan. The humans would create a distraction, drawing Void forces away from their main ship. The outcasts would open a path through the defenses. Vixalara would carry the harmonic disruptor to the target. As they prepared, long-range sensors detected something new. A Concord fleet was entering the system. We don't have much time, Chen warned. The Concord will try to stop us. They want to hide the truth about the Void Collective. The attack began with human ships flying close to Void vessels, firing at their weak points. The outcasts, who knew what it meant to be overlooked, slipped through gaps in the Collective's defenses. Vixalara, carrying the small device that held the harmonic frequency, moved toward the massive Void flagship. Her crystal body glowed with a soft blue light, a beacon of hope in the darkness. She reached the outer hull of the Void vessel and found a way inside. The corridors were dark and twisted, pulsing with strange life. The deeper she went, the more Her body resonated with the disruptor. Each step became painful as the frequencies began to clash. Just as Vixalara neared the central hub, the conquered fleet arrived. They fired on everyone: humans, outcasts, void ships, trying to destroy all evidence of their past crimes. In the confusion, Vixalara lost contact with the Alliance. Alone in the heart of enemy territory, she pressed forward while bombs fell and ships burned around her. The Alliance could only wait and hope their desperate plan would work. Inside the Void flagship, Vixalara moved carefully through dark hallways that seemed alive. The walls pulsed with strange black veins. Each step was harder than the last. The harmonic disruptor she carried made her crystal body hurt as the frequencies clashed. Just a little further, she whispered to herself, following Athena's map, to the central hub. Outside, the battle grew worse. The conquered ships targeted the Odyssey with special weapons, recognizing the human ship as the most dangerous to their secret. Captain Chen ordered evasive maneuvers while trying to maintain the link with the planet's crystal network. Damage on decks 3 and 4, Officer Patel reported. Shields failing. Chen gripped her chair. Hold position as long as possible. Vixalara needs more time. On the ground, Commander Kirksa led the outcasts defending the main Araxian citadel. Thousands of crystal people sheltered inside. The Void forces pressed forward, but the defenders held their line: humans, outcasts, and the few Araxians who had learned to fight. Then conquered ground forces landed, demanding immediate surrender. "Stand aside," ordered a tall Concord soldier. "This planet is now under conquered control." Kirksa stepped forward, crystal showing through their broken silicon shell. "I know your kind well. I was once one of you." "You were cast out for weakness," the conquered soldier replied. "No," Kirksa said loudly so all could hear. "I was cast out for seeing the truth. True perfection is not the absence of flaws. It is the strength to carry on despite them." Inside the Void vessel, Vixalara finally reached the neural hub, a massive black sphere pulsing with dark energy. She activated the harmonic disruptor, but something was wrong. The signal wasn't strong enough to spread through the entire collective network. "It's not working," she said into her communicator, but no one answered. She was cut off, alone. Vixalara looked at her own crystal body, then at the disruptor, and suddenly understood what she had to do. To amplify the signal, she would need to shatter her physical form, essentially sacrificing herself. As she prepared for this final act, something unexpected happened. Her consciousness expanded, touching Captain Chen's mind across the distance. In that brief connection, Vixalara shared images of her people's history and a terrible truth. The Void Collective wasn't just a weapon, Vixalara's thoughts told Chen. It was built using the minds of people the Concord deemed imperfect. They forced these flawed beings into a hive mind and turned them into a weapon. With this revelation, Vixalara made her choice. She pressed the disruptor against her chest and sent a pulse of energy through her own body. Her crystal form shattered into thousands of pieces, each fragment carrying the perfect harmonic frequency. The signal spread through the collective network like lightning. Across the battlefield, Void drones suddenly stopped moving. Their black shells cracked, and strange lights began to shine through. The Conquered, seeing what was happening, grew desperate. They aimed their largest weapon at the planet's crystal core, a gravity device that could crush the entire world. "We can't stop that weapon," Chen told her crew in despair. But then something amazing happened. The freed minds from the Void, collective, victims of the Concord's ancient crime, began connecting with Araxia's crystal network. They strengthened it against the Concord's attack. These broken ones had kept small pieces of their identity hidden deep within the collective. When given the harmonic key by Vixalara's sacrifice, they broke free and fought back. The humans, outcasts, Araxians, and freed Void victims joined their minds through the planet's crystals. Together, they created a shield against the Concord weapon. For a brief, beautiful moment, all these different beings shared thoughts and feelings, finding strength in their differences. The Concord's weapon fired, but failed to break through the united shield. Their fleet, seeing defeat, withdrew to regroup. The battle was won, but the war was just beginning. More importantly, they had discovered the truth about their enemy and about themselves. Days after the battle, Araxia began to heal. The crystal towers that had been damaged started to grow again, but in strange new patterns. Colors never seen before flowed through the structures as the freed void consciousnesses, now calling themselves the Reclaimed, joined with the planet's network. The Reclaimed couldn't return to their original bodies, but they found a way to exist in two forms. Sometimes they lived within the crystal structures. Other times they used special bodies built by human and outcast engineers. "It's beautiful," Captain Chen said, watching a group of Reclaimed in their new forms walk through a crystal garden. Their bodies glowed with soft light of many colors. "Beauty from brokenness," Commander Kirixa replied. "Something the Concord could never understand." Chen knew they had won a battle, but not the war. The Concord would return with more ships, more weapons. They couldn't let the truth about the Void Collective become known. "We need to tell others what happened here," Chen decided. She used the Odyssey systems to send messages to nearby star systems, telling the true story of the Conquered and the Void Collective. The response was quick and divided. Many Concord worlds didn't believe it. How could their perfect leaders have done something so terrible? But on worlds where imperfect people were hidden away or treated badly, people began to rise up. The Conquered Assembly, angry about the spreading truth, declared humans and their allies enemies of peace. They created a blockade around Araxia and sent special teams to kill anyone who had been there. Kirixa barely survived when former crewmates tried to assassinate them. "The Concord fears the truth more than any enemy," Kirixa told Chen afterward. Chen knew they needed help. Their small force couldn't stand against the full might of the Concord. "We must reach Earth," she said. "Warn humanity and gather more support." But getting to Earth wouldn't be easy. The fastest route passed through conquered territory, and their ships were damaged from the battle. Vixalara, who had not truly died but existed now as a consciousness in the crystal network, offered a solution. Her voice came through the crystals, soft but clear. "The Reclaimed remember ancient paths through space that the Concord hid from everyone," she explained. "They call them void corridors, dangerous tunnels through space-time." "Are they safe?" Chen asked. "No," Vixalara answered honestly. "But they might get you to Earth without the Concord knowing." As they prepared to leave, something unexpected happened. Ships arrived from 3 nearby worlds that weren't part of the Concord. They had received Chen's message and brought supplies, weapons, and volunteers. "We heard your story," their leader said. "We too have been called imperfect by the Concord." The Alliance was growing, united not by species or form, but by a shared belief. Everyone deserved to exist as they were. The Odyssey and a small group of ships entered the first void corridor, a strange tunnel of twisted space and time. The journey was rough, the ship shaking as reality bent around them. As they traveled, Athena detected something alarming. "Captain, I'm picking up a massive Concord fleet gathering near Araxia. It appears to be a sterilization force." The news hit Chen hard. With communication impossible through the corridor, she faced a terrible choice: continue to Earth for help that might come too late, or return to make a stand with what little they had. Then, suddenly, the corridor shifted. A new path opened before them, one the ship's computers couldn't identify. "This route leads to the Conquered Central Archive," Athena said after analyzing it, "where they keep the complete history and consciousness backups of all Conquered founders." "It's a trap," Kirixa warned. "Probably," Chen agreed. "But it's also a chance to show the whole galaxy the truth at once." Chen put it to a vote among all species in their fleet. Everyone agreed. They would risk everything for the truth. The corridor grew more unstable as they changed course. Screens showed a 37% chance of survival. Chen looked at her bridge crew, human, outcast, Araxian, and reclaimed, and felt something she never expected to find so far from home. Family. Even if we fail, she told them, what we've built here has already changed the galaxy. Not bad for a bunch of broken ones. The Alliance fleet burst out of the void corridor directly above Eternia Prime, the Concord's most sacred world. Their sudden appearance shocked the Concord. No one had ever reached this hidden place without permission. We have minutes before they organize their defenses, Captain Chen told her allies. Everyone knows their part. The plan was dangerous, but clear. The Odyssey would break through to the Archive's shields. A team of Reclaimed would enter its network. Commander Kirksa would lead a ground team to secure the main transmission array. The rest of their small fleet would form a protective circle, ready for the Concord counterattack. Chen guided the Odyssey down through laser fire toward the massive crystal building that housed the central archive. The ship's shields flashed, with each hit growing weaker. On the ground, Kirksa led outcasts toward the transmission array. They faced the embodied Concord founders, ancient beings who had moved through many bodies over thousands of years. You dare bring imperfection to our perfect world? A founder asked, its current body tall and glowing with energy. Your perfection is a lie, Kirksa replied. It's built on fear of difference, fear of change, fear of death. Inside the archive, the Reclaimed connected to the historical records. What they found was surprising. The Concord had begun as a good alliance, much like their own. But as its founders extended their lives again and again, they changed. They forgot what it meant to be mortal. Fear of death became fear of anything imperfect. Outside, the main conquered fleet arrived, hundreds of massive ships against their small alliance. The humans and outcasts fought with everything they had. Araxian crystal technology created shields of light. Former Void victims used their knowledge of Concord weaknesses. Inside the archive, Athena and Vixalara, her consciousness carried in a portable crystal, reached the central system. Instead of just sending out the truth as recordings, they did something unexpected. We're opening a direct mind link between the founders and every being in range, Vixalara explained. They will feel what they've been missing. The link activated. For the first time in thousands of years, the conquered founders experienced the full range of emotions from those they had judged imperfect. Hope, fear, love, pain, courage, doubt. Some founders broke under the emotional flood. Others awakened, suddenly aware of the emptiness of their long lives. The mind link spread to the conquered fleet. Ship commanders who had followed orders without question began to think for themselves. Many stopped fighting. Some turned their weapons away from the Alliance. In orbit, a massive Concord dreadnought targeted the Odyssey for destruction. As its main weapon powered up, something amazing happened. Other Concord ships moved to block the shot, protecting the human vessel. The defection spread quickly. Not all Concord ships joined the Alliance. Many simply stopped fighting, their crews overwhelmed by sudden freedom after centuries of rigid control. The battle ended not with a clear victory, but with a transformation. Ships from across the galaxy came to Araxia in the following days. The crystal planet, now home to many species, became a symbol of cooperation against impossible odds. A new alliance formed, not based on perfection, but on respect for difference. Chen was offered leadership but refused. Instead, she proposed a council with representatives from all species, especially those previously called broken. In the final meeting, Chen stood with Kirsa and a hologram of Vixalara's consciousness in Araxia's rebuilt central hall. Above them, ships from dozens of worlds moved in beautiful patterns. What do we call ourselves now? Kirsa asked, watching the ships dance. Chen smiled. How about the answered? Because when the call came, we were the ones who showed up. Across the galaxy, a message spread. In the darkness between stars, the strongest light comes not from perfect beings, but from those willing to answer when others cry for help. The end.